up there, buttheads? First off, Happy New Year. It's 2020. Never thought we'd make it, but we did. We're here. I hope everybody that made New Year's resolutions are making them. That is, beating their goals. And, let's stay positive. Let's be kind to each other in 2020. That's what I'm preaching, is more kindness. That's what I want. Anyway, hey, I'm here to talk to you about my Fender Champion 600 here that I was just playing for you there. A little history about how I acquired this is I got it from a gentleman that's selling it on Facebook Marketplace in my local area. I paid about $220 for it, which in hindsight was probably on the steeper side, as I've had it for about a year or so now. As I've seen them creep up on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, I noticed that they usually hover between the 180 to 200 price range there. So 220. Why did I pay 220? Well, I was at the guy's house. He did say he had another buyer or interested party. I was his first though. I was more interested in walking out with a new amp to add to my collection. But anyway, this thing is pretty cool. It's a tube amp. It's a reissue from the original Fender Champions that came out in the late 40s, early 50s. A lot of amplifier packed into this small box here. It's very simple. It's got just one volume knob, an on switch and volume knob, a low and a high input. Pretty simple, so it would be a really great practice amplifier for anyone out there. With that said, probably on the more niche. If you know you're going to be really into guitars and you want to spend the money for this kind of practice amp. This actually came with the original manual and tags. One of the marketing schemes of the Fender Champion is for recording, again, because it's got so much amplifier packed into the one box here, in the small box. And it does get pretty loud. That volume that I had for the Jam was about 8 out of 12 notches on the volume knob. So that kind of gives you a flavor for how loud it might be able to get. Also, just FYI, I'm recording this straight into my Canon audio microphone, which I find has pretty decent sounding levels there. But anyway, it's a pretty cool amp. Personally, I have not been able to bond with it. I don't really necessarily know why. I'm a pretty clean player. I don't like a whole lot of pedals and doodads in between me and the amp, my guitar and the amplifier. I really just like being able to just plug and go. So why have I not been able to really kind of sink in with this thing? I'm not really sure why. Maybe I just need to play it more. I'll admit I am maybe thinking about selling it just because it's not my go-to amp. I've got my Fender Deluxe Reverb off camera, and I've got my S&G Systems, one that's fun to play as well, and please check out that video. But I guess I did buy it with maybe motivations to do some more miking and recording with it. But I'm just not there yet with it. Again, I don't really necessarily know why. Just because my newest flavor is I'm thinking about buying an acoustic electric amplifier, something I can also plug a microphone in to maybe do some more gigging kind of stuff, solo that is, and which would be the reason why I sell this, is just because this is taking up space as well as I don't play it. With that said, it's a cool amp. Like it's got a lot of history to it. There's several cases of these things being in famous recordings. I think Joe Walsh used a Fender Champion on some of his solo work there. But again, it's a fun little amp, but I have not been able to jive with it. I think aesthetically it looks really cool. This is a cloth here I love the earth tones, the cream and the brown, so you kind of have that 1950s feel. Um, you know, we'll see. We'll see what I do with it. I did, through my research on the internet, it does look like there might be a community out there that likes to modify them. They'll pull the actual hardware out of the back and throw in different resistors and capacitors, so on and so forth, to maybe get a little bit more bite out of the amplifier. That's kind of a common theme I've noticed with these on the forums and on the internets, is that for as powerful as they are, they don't really have a real crunch or bite to them, and so that's why a lot of the modders will go after that sound. Again, I just haven't had the time to even really dive into that side of amplifiers. Frankly, I really don't know if I want to. I want to be able to plug in and go. I don't necessarily always want to know what the ohms and the oots and the aughts are on every single piece of equipment, which probably doesn't do these reviews, these profiles any good, and how informative they are, but nonetheless, appreciate you watching. With that, you know, if you guys have any thoughts on the Fender Champion and this reissue, throw a comment. Let me know what you know about it, and tell me how you use it. Tell me how you love it or what you don't like about it. And with that, hey, thanks for watching. You know, if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Turn on the notifications. Let's keep the dialogue going. Thanks. Have a great new year.